And Mr. Makebi Zulu, welcome to the program. Welcome to Tuesday's edition of The Burning Issue.
Thanks for having me, Mr. Banda.
How have you been?
I've been happy. How have you been?
Very well.
Great.
We haven't seen each other. I see you most of the times, but we haven't seen each other in a long time. And I hope that you are settled.
I see you too. Though we have not met in person in quite some time.
I wonder, are you politically settled?
We're settling. We're settling.
Yeah.
We will settle after the 13th of August. As soon as we take over government, we should be settled.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, please. It's now time to work.
Well, interesting.
Was it still there?
It's still there. Indeed. And talking about working and the fact that you are in opposition, and I think that opposition parties seem fragmented, leaving voters, most of the voters, uncertain about alternatives. All right. So what's the timeline for becoming a viable alternative to the ruling party? You yourself first as an individual and collectively as a party.
Well, there's a perception of fragmentation as it were, because if I asked you to say which opposition political parties are fragmented, it would be difficult to say this one is fragmented from this. But perhaps when people are talking about fragmentation, they're looking at what is happening in the Patriotic Front party, and looking at when are they giving us someone to lead, when are they giving us a leader in the Patriotic Front party. That is exactly what is being talked about. And so far, guidance has been given that perhaps within the next 4 days, we should be able to have someone to head this movement of people called the Patriotic Front, so that all rally behind that individual. And if all rally behind that individual, this issue of fragmentation of the opposition, as it were, will be a thing of the past. Because everyone is looking to see what is going to happen within the Patriotic Front Party. And we're glad that direction has been given. And we're preparing for that process.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
But is this direction coming as a result of the court process that we know eventually there was judgment? But just bring us up to speed where the Patriotic Front is with regards legalities in terms of who is the president of the party.
Well, as things stand, people may be aware that we're coming from a place where on the 24th of October 2023, Mao Sampa had held what he purported was a convention.
Right.
And that resulted into names at the Restructuring societies being changed to reflect those that he had indicated were office bearers at that particular time. Of course, as a party, we challenged that convention, calling it a shams, of course, saying that it wasn't a convention in the first place. And thereafter, you saw what happened to Mao himself, how that his Secretary General purported to take over the party after having been expelled. So, having been expelled, he rushed to court to challenge his expulsion. And he got an injunction to say that he remains the Secretary General of the party that Mao Sampa had registered then, or at least part of the office bearers that were registered by Mao Sampa, which injunction was later discharged by the court. But the matter was still in court, meaning that even at that particular time, he certainly wasn't a Secretary General, at least according to the papers that were filed by Mao Sampa. Then he should have pursued that matter to its end. He never did. 3 years down the line, an application was made to have the matter dismissed for want of prosecution, which matter was dismissed, and that's the judgment that you saw, or the ruling of the court that you saw, where they said he never pursued this matter, challenging his expulsion, and as such, he should, the matter was dismissed. Following that, you saw Mao Sampa going to Kabwe and filing for alteration of parties, because even in the Kabwe matter, Ngona does not have locus standi, or does not have a legal position or legal right to sue, which he purported he had, because the court says you stand dismissed. So he's not Secretary General of the party anymore. And we are following up those processes. We have a judgment that's coming on the 27th of March. Now, this judgment is the one that is intended to take away the party from Mao Sampa and bring it to where it was. In that particular case, you saw how that when the matter was filed in court, in his defense, Mao Sampa said, well, I never held a convention. When Ngona came to testify, he said, I was just an invitee. If Mao's is saying that it wasn't a convention as it were, it then follows that the appointment of Ngona was not right. And Ngona's appointment of Chabinga therefore falls away because they all didn't have powers. Yes. So that is the anticipated judgment for the 27th of March.
Yeah.
Yes.
So back to purported fragmentation.
Yes.
Again, this is a matter in which people out there, especially party members of the Patriotic Front, are calling for unity within the party. And I think that the call for unity is around Brian Mundubile and you. And you've been urged to unite for a strong opposition. What's your response to this call? And do you see a potential alliance?
Perhaps let me follow your question. You are saying the members of the party are calling for unity within the party. And you are right, they're calling for unity within the party. Because like I said, there's a perception of division. Yeah. But the issue is, we are contesting for the presidency. So Makebi will stand and say, "Ni vote reni." Balwinda will stand and say, "Vote for me." And Wakambwi will stand and say, "Vote for me." So the candidates that are there are 6. Brian Mundubile is not one of them because he moved out. He's now with FTD and Tonse Alliance, as it were. So for now, our concentration is putting PF in order, putting ourselves in order, us who chose to remain and contest based on ideas within the party, get acceptability throughout the country, throughout all the districts, 116 districts of this republic, get that legitimacy from the party to be able to lead this movement called the Patriotic Front Party. Yes.
And I think the most contentious issue here is the fact that Mundubile takes away a good chunk of followers from the Patriotic Front, and you have your own from Patriotic Front. So basically, it's Patriotic Front that has been split in terms of following. And the people are saying, look, this should not have happened. This should not happen. Because if you are to win an election, you need to put these members who've split back together and go in as a force.
I've always been an advocate of coming together. I've always been an advocate of working together. And it is very important, more often than not, to be patient and so follow through processes. And I'm very certain that once we complete this process within the PF, what people wanted was some kind of settlement, some form of direction, and which seemingly was not there, because the meeting of minds as to when we're going to choose a leader amongst ourselves was certainly not there as relates to the date. Now that that is settled, we anticipate that once a leader is chosen, then we are going to have a meeting of minds. Those that were desperate as to be shown direction will certainly come back to the party, and we'll obviously have to give, or at least show, an olive branch to those that would like to come back to the party. It is very important that there's cohesion in the party. So it's for those that have gone out to come back, and they're more than welcome, because we need cohesion. We need unity to be able to get to the next election.
I'll take you back to the legitimacy around Ngona and Chabinga. I think the big question also is, why is it that the office bearers at the registrar of office still remains as is with the two that I've mentioned appearing? When do we expect the change of office bearers?
See, there has been a lot of mishandling of the matter on the part of the government when it comes to the office of the Registrar of Societies.
Okay.
And this will have to have some people account for the illegalities that have been going on there. You do recall that in 2023 itself, when they purported to have changed the office bearers when in fact not, and how that when I proceeded and got an order to get the office bearers that were there and paid to have that, and that list was given, what happened? The Registrar of Societies was sent home because the permanent secretary then, I don't know if he's still there, Matambo, decided that that should not have been done against the court order, against late procedures of government as to how you access the register. They purported that the register had been changed, when in fact they only changed it after the 11th of November. Because that printout was gotten on the 11th of November. They purported to have changed it on the 24th of October, or at least a day thereafter, when they purported to have changed it, when in fact they didn't. So you will see that anything that works to disadvantage the opposition, the government will be very quick to act. A typical example is NCP, how that quickly, on a very day that there's filing in of purported changes, the changes were made. When NCP wanted to get a printout, or at least to search the record, to this day, they've not been allowed to search the record. They've not been allowed to access the record as to what documents were filed. Just yesterday itself, we saw some people going to the Registrar of Societies and were right away given a printout as to who the office bearers are on that particular document, assuming that the document is authentic. So you will see that there's double standards being played, and this government is only working to disadvantage the opposition. Is only working to ensure that they don't have an opposition by way of their mingalato. I would have hoped that they would work to win against the opposition by what they have done for the Zambian people. We are in this race in politics to save Zambia. We are in politics to ensure that the lives of the Zambians are better. The cost of living is brought down. Under the UPND, the cost of living has not been brought down. Things are becoming more expensive by the day, which are things that this government should be dealing with. People are crying for roads in most parts of the country. That's what government should be doing. Not following up the opposition, arresting citizens that are expressing themselves, arresting opposition leaders that are condemning the misdeeds of government. That is not what they should be doing. They should be working to serve the interests of Zambians, and not what they've been doing in trying to ensure that there's no opposition, people can't talk. That is not the way you govern. And we are making ourselves available to show the UPND how to govern. You govern by responding to the needs of the people. You govern by responding to the issue of unemployment. There's youth unemployment. What is government doing to ensure that there's employment for the youths? The women are struggling in their businesses, and in having access or equal access to opportunities. What is government doing about that? Our minds are being dissipated. Our minds have become conduits of corruption by members of the government. What is government doing about that? What is government doing to ensure that our small businesses in the country are working and responding to the needs of the people, that the small businesses are creating employment? What is government doing to enable them? Are they going to continue on the trajectory of giving incentives to the mines and denying those incentives to the locals who are in business? Are they going to continue chasing small-scale miners from areas where they are mining and giving preference to foreign entities that are coming in? Are they going to continue making sure that our mines are being ripped off and benefiting an elite few who are related or at least affiliated to the government or persons in the government, instead of making sure that that money works for the Zambians? Those are the issues that should be worked on by this government, and not this idea of trying to dissipate the opposition and making it seem as though the opposition does not exist, when in fact it is their doing that is ensuring that they do not seem or are not seen to exist. Yes. So those are the areas that government should be working at, and that is what we intend to come back and restore the right democracy that we've been enjoying from 1991 when we came back to multipartyism.
We'll get into the details of what you are offering the electorates out there, but let me quickly take you back to the fact that you mentioned NCP in your response. NCP has offered you the party as a special purpose vehicle if you so need, and you keep talking about how you are part of the presidential aspirant in Patriotic Front. Is that an indication that you did not take the offer?
What I believe in is opposition unity, and like I said last time, I thank the NCP president for acknowledging or seeing the potential in me to stand on their ticket as a presidential candidate. But the song that we should be singing is, how can we all work together? NCP, Patriotic Front Party, Citizens First, Socialist Party, MDC, or any other party for that matter. How can we work together? I feel the role and contribution I would like to make on the Zambian political scene is that of a unifier. Not one who is going to pursue a selfish ambition of saying, I have an easy way out here, let me take it. And work to ensure that this easy way out works for everybody that may be on the political arena. And that is what we've been working on.
Now, Mr. Makebi Zulu, you and I have chatted several times.
Yes.
And even before the demise of ECL, you didn't show any intent to run for presidency. Of course, you did mention to me in passing, like we were just joking, but on a serious note, you had no intention whatsoever. You didn't even show it by way of, paying that 200,000 kwacha towards, your interest to stand initially. And suddenly here you are, you want to run for presidency. The question now that is begging a response is, the late president spoke more about Plan B because, after the Constitutional Court, decided that he is not eligible to stand, he opted for Plan B. And I personally was very inquisitive about what Plan B would be. Someone within the Patriotic Front hinted to me, but did not hint who it was. But the hint came in form of, don't worry, he is your fellow young one, your age mate probably. And it ended there. And now that you have resurfaced or surfaced and go for this, I'm made to believe you must have been the rumored Plan B. Would you say this is what it is, anointed by the late President Edgar Lungu? Can you confirm or deny this?
That's a very interesting question, and I like how that you built up to that particular question. Leadership is from God. At least I believe that leadership is from God. On the political scene, and my coming onto the political scene, priority is for you, Mr. Banda, to be able to see me as a leader, a person that has a plan for the nation, a person that has a vision for the nation, a person that has got a plan to deal with the issues that have to be dealt with. That is primary. It would be absurd if the first thing that comes to your mind is that this is the anointed one or not the anointed one. That takes away your ability to see whether there's a leader in this person or not. For that reason, what I will push mostly is to say, I am available and I come with a team that is capable to run this country. To run this country better than what has been done by the UPND. To respond to the economic issues that are there. To respond to the agricultural issues that are there. Respond to a multi-sectoral approach towards development. To respond to the issues of unemployment. How do we connect students to industry? How do we connect the young ones to industry? How do we ensure that we have a sectoral approach towards development of this country? That is what is important at this particular time for me. And I would like us to concentrate on that. Perhaps at an opportune time, we will be able to have such kind of debates. But what goes to the very root of our discussion is that, is there capacity or capability to lead the nation? And I'm saying I have that capacity. I have that capability to lead the nation. And here is what we want to do. In the agriculture sector, we want to ensure that irrigation is part of it. We grow food all year round. We want to improve the farmer input support program, not what it has been brought down to by this particular government. We want to ensure that there's transparency in governance. We want to take away those powers that the president has and tends to abuse, and ensure that institutions of governance are independent as they ought to be. When we do all these things, we will be working for the betterment of the Zambians, and will not be singing a song as to whether one is chosen or not, but singing a song that responds to the issues of development for the country.
But you know,
because it's a team.
Leaders are made.
Leaders are made.
Yeah, and do you think that late President Edgar Lungu has mentored you, has molded you to some extent?
I would say I have learned a lot from President Edgar Lungu. I have learned a lot from previous presidents of this country, but obviously the one I was closest to was President Edgar Lungu. I must say that I've also learned a lot from President Hakainde Hichilema, and that is how not to govern. So we keep learning in this journey, because we have to learn that governance is not about one person; it's about everybody coming together, sharing ideas that put the country first. That is what, that's the philosophy I believe in. So you are right. I did learn quite a lot from President Edgar Lungu.
Where do you believe this current government has failed Zambians? What alternatives do you also offer, particularly in sectors like economy, health, healthcare, and education?
The failures of this government are known. Zambians out there know that they don't want this government. All they are looking to now is who is going to be the alternative. What plans do they have for Zambia? And of course, it is important. It may be difficult to talk about your plan without making reference to what they have done. At this moment, if we ask ourselves, what kind of Zambia do we want? Certainly, the kind of Zambia that we are living in now is not the kind of Zambia that any person who loves this country wants it to be. This country is divided now more than ever before. On regional lines, on tribal lines, this country is divided. This country needs to be unified. This country needs healing. There has been so much hatred in the last 4 years, so much of politics of vengeance that has gone on, and that needs to be a thing of the past. So as regards that issue of national unity, we have to bring back national unity. We have to bring back the concept of one Zambia, one nation in its proper sense. We need to bring it back. I think that's foundational. We also need to look at institutions of governance. Everybody knows the abuse of the judiciary, the abuse of National Assembly, the abuse of the executive itself. The police are being abused left, right, and center to pursue persons that they ought not to be pursuing, to deal with matters that they should not be dealing with. That system has broken down. It has to be fixed. Our economy is only pleasing to those that are looting or taking our resources from our country. Zambia's birthright, the mineral resource that we have, the vast land that we have, arable land, the water that we have, are these working to benefit the Zambians? The monies that are being made from Zambia, are they remaining in our banks so that our women and youths are able to access cheap loans that they can use for purposes of development? The monies that we are borrowing, are we using that money for development? I can tell you, Zach, that the majority of the monies that we are borrowing right now under the UPND is used to pay salaries. If 90% of the budget that you have goes towards salaries, how much money do you have for development? How best can we raise resources to be able to pay our workers and able to sustain the economy of our country? The very resource that we have has been a subject of abuse. Here is a typical example, Zach. Mopani copper mine was owned by the government, at least at the time we were leaving power in 2021. There were 51% of shares that were given back to the Zambian government. President Edgar Lungu should be praised for wanting proper local content as regards the mining sector. This Mopani copper mine, having gotten these shares back, only needed $350 million to be able to run. That is what was needed to run the mine. Did we have that kind of money as a country? I'll say yes. We had this money to be able to put in that mine. I will come back to this and tell you where this money was going to come from. We had KCM as well, which was put in receivership because it was being used as a conduit to siphon money out of the country. The undertakings that were made by KCM were not being met. These undertakings were supposed to benefit the country and benefit those that work in the mines. Let me go back to this $350 million and where it was going to come from. We have NAPSA. We have workers' compensation, who were forced to take money to fund the dual carriageway by this government. A project where the contractor was already given money. And this contractor, or indeed the consortium, have been given to run the toll gates to raise this money. Now, how do you give your contractor money to build a road, then you also give them a contract to run the toll gates. Why didn't you let NAPSA give this contractor money and let NAPSA run the toll gates to collect their money? Why is this contractor benefiting not twice but 3 times? 3 times because the Chinese government gives you a loan to build this road. They give this loan to this particular company to build this road. Then you get money and pay this company from NAPSA to build the road, a company which has gotten a loan. You have not only doubled what they've gotten, you also go further and give them the toll gates to run. NAPSA should not have given this money to this contractor.
Loaned, no? Because that's loaned to this contractor, to the consortium.
Matter. You loan this money
as an interest.
You loan this money to this consortium, or indeed to this contractor, when they already have gotten money from the Chinese government.
Does it matter?
It does matter.
Because the person who loans out money is interest is what he gets in interest.
It does matter because this loan that you've been given by the Chinese, you have been told you pay it in 28 years. You have 28 years to pay this loan. You get this money which this company gets, you also get money from NAPSA, the very equivalent of 850 million, to say, here's the money you run. You make this road. Over and above this money, government says, okay, you run the toll gates. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. Even without NAPSA giving this company money, they were going to work on the road based on the loan from China. This money, up to the tune of $850 million, $350 million was going to be pumped into Mopani copper mines to be able to run it as a national asset, as a benefit to the Zambians. NAPSA was going to remain with $500 million, which they're going to use on other issues. Now, what did we do? We rip off NAPSA, then we rip off Mopani. How did we rip off Mopani? Mopani copper mines, these shares of up to 51% had a value of at least $650 million. You float to sell these shares to this company called Delta. Delta, a newly created company whose shareholders have no financial capacity whatsoever, gotten from Dubai. You send a presidential jet to Dubai to pick up these people who are supposed to have money to run your mines. And you bring them into Zambia to say, these are the investors we found. These investors, if you are going to sell this mine, are supposed to pay the Zambian people $650 million. They don't pay the Zambian people this $650 million. They get a loan, or this company called Jubilee Metals, a company whose members are associates of the president. They lend this company $400 million. Jubilee Metals lends $400 million. And this company gets $233 million from the local banks. And what do they say? This $650 or $633 million is going to be used to run the mines. You have just given away a mine for free. Now, what is the effect of this? This $400 million, which they have borrowed from the associates of the president, has to be paid back to the associates of the president. Meaning that if they mine and make a profit, if Mopani is going to work and they make a profit, they have to deduct this $400 million because it is a cost on their part. It is or rather, they have this liability of 400 million kwacha. They have to pay it back. They can't therefore pay corporate taxes, which are supposed to benefit the Zambians. Are you following me, Zach?
Yeah.
So if they don't pay the corporate taxes, there is no benefit that is coming to the Zambians. This money is being paid to Jubilee Metals. This money is being paid where they got the 233. Now, here's the issue. And I gave this example. I'm buying your phone, Zach. And you sell your phone to me at 500 kwacha. I say, okay, give me your phone. Then I tell you, this 500 kwacha, which I'm supposed to give you, I will use it to buy talk time in the phone that I've gotten from you. What benefit have you gotten? Nothing. What benefit did Zambia get from Mopani? Nothing. This value, we should have sold it, should have been able to come into Control 99. It should have been able to come into the Zambian account. It is for that reason that when we had that issue to say, how can you sell a mine without the approval of National Assembly? The Attorney General came and told us, Awe, it wasn't a sale. Perhaps it is time we agreed with them that it was a giveaway. Because there is no money that has come in. And I do recall the Minister of Mines being able to say, what is wrong with an investor coming in and borrowing money from our banks? Isn't it business for our banks? I wondered whether he was thinking properly. Because if an investor is going to come and borrow this kind of money from the banks, what is going to remain for you and me to borrow from the banks? Do you think the banks will give you priority? Do you think that woman who's selling vitumbua pakona will be able to go to the bank and get a loan? Because the banks would rather give to the mines and get better interest from that. And if at all they are going to bend to give you and me money, or indeed any other citizen money, the cost of borrowing that money will be high. The interest rates are going to be high. If this investor had brought in the 650 million, this money was going to be sitting in our banks. Our banks were going to have too much money to be keeping. Instead, they were going to use this money to lend to Zambians at a very low interest rate. And you say we have no money in this country? We have the money. And this is where the money was going to come from. If this money had come and was sitting in our banks, our very own citizens were going to be able to access this money. Let this investor you have brought in use their money now to run the mines. Did they ever use their money to run these mines? No. They are using your money and my money to run those mines for the benefit of this Jubilee Metals that supposedly lent them $400 million. Is that how you run a country, Zach? Is that how you exploit the resources of the country? What could have this 650 million done? It could have built hospitals. It could have been used on roads, as they are trying to do on the dual carriageway. It should have been sufficient to work on the roads, because even this dual carriageway is a scam. It's a scam because the first amount that this government was given as to how much they are going to build that road at was $450 million. There was a revision that brought it to 550. A further one that it was increasing by $100 million at every revision until it came to $850 million. Why are we ransacking the coffers of this country? Why are we disadvantaging our people? This $650 million would have worked on that cancer diseases hospital. Zambians would have been going to that cancer diseases hospital. Now the government is taking them to India and taking them to Tanzania when they found a facility that was properly working. Razak, we need a plan to ensure that there are resources available for our people. This resource should have been available for Zambians to borrow from the banks at low interest rates. It should have been available. But marketeer, musicians, or all the artists, youths, they should have been able to access cheaper loans.
So
and business was going to thrive.
Yeah. Are you intending, or do you plan to reverse the Mopani transaction should you assume office?
Things must be renegotiated. Renegotiated to ensure that there's a win-win situation between the Zambians and an investor. That must be done.
Are you making them pay the right amount?
They must pay the right amount to the Zambian people. They must pay we need a regime that is going to respond to the needs of the country and respond to the needs of the investor. It has to be a win-win situation. That's what it has to be. With this kind of situation, we have a GDP that we keep talking about that is not local. Let's let our businesses, local businesses, contribute greatly to our GDP. Let's let the mines contribute greatly to our GDP by money remaining, or at least a very good amount remaining in our coffers. What do we do? Even after we give them this mine, we give away this mine, we even give them tax incentives where they don't pay much tax. But over and above that, we make this mineral royalty taxes. We make it deductible. Meaning that there will never be a time in the near future when these companies or these mines will ever tell us that they've made a profit. They'll always be deducting. And we'll always have no money. And that is why we're now running to IMF, not for development, for our development needs, but we're going to IMF for consumption. This consumption is what? You are going to use it to pay salaries. When you can raise monies to pay these salaries and pay better salaries using the very resources that we have a problem and we need to fix it. Now is the opportunity to fix this problem.
This is the Tuesday edition of The Burning Issue. Our guest today is Mr. Makebi Zulu. He is renowned lawyer and Patriotic Front presidential aspiring candidate. Let's get down to priority. What is your priority sector should you assume office?
First things first, as we have discussed, tolanda tukumaini ekulefuma endalama. Nga twafunye endalama eshikuma mines, we have to work on the agricultural sector. The agricultural sector is capable of being the largest employer in this country. It has been messed up. Kukatete, kumwinilunga, kuchifunavuli. These people are saying, give us the ability to grow, and then we'll have food security. A nation that is food secure is a prosperous nation. If we can work on our agricultural sector, if we can give our farmers sufficient inputs. You saw the slogan that UPND came with. Ati yo, votereni mulimu mnenu, voterani mulimu mzanu, because he understands the problems that you go through. Aya masaka 6 yamne mufola, o yamne mtenga ku FISIP, muzambo tenga masaka 8 or 10. Aya masaka yamne mugula pa 750 kwacha, or indeed 450 kwacha, nyo dola. Yanekera ya cheap. What have they done? The opposite. Those that were getting these 6 bags of fertilizers are sharing 1 bag of fertilizer. How many times have you run news that wagawana mameda fertilizer? How many times have you run news to say wagawana makapu nkanya ya seed? How many times have you run that news? And over and above that, mwashotesa fertilizer, mwashotesa seed, what do you do? After they harvest, You still don't want to pay them for supplying maize to FRA. Where has the money gone? Who are the beneficiaries? You come into government and say, milices are pack. You sell. And the next thing, kulibeva kuja in the country. What kind of plan did you come up with? Did you come with? Nothing that the UPND said they were going to do has ever happened. Did they ever promise that kuzankara partial withdrawal kunapsa? They never promised partial withdrawal. When they came with the issue of partial withdrawal, how many people are working to be able to benefit from that partial withdrawal? Is it the majority of the Zambians? No, it is not. They come up with this concept of CDF. It's seemingly a very brilliant concept on paper. But then, what is this CDF being used? It's a conduit of corruption. Kulibe constituency yamnamza indako, yamnaza muzan puti, no, even this CDF has worked in our best interest. Majority of Vantuamnatenga Malonuku is the UPND cadres. And now the report is that the default rate is very high when it comes to these CDF monies that are being given to people. Because those that are getting UPND, they think it's their time to eat. They think it's time for them to be rewarded for having voted or indeed campaigned for UPND. They are not paying back this money. The default rate is very high. Now, this CDF is also a scam. It's a scam because olokutiza enda ndarama pa constituency. You would expect that it would work wonders. There should have been a very big difference from the 1.6 million kwacha that was going into a constituency to the over 30 million kwacha that is now going to the constituency. Now, let me tell you what they've done. Makambati ndarama is in the CDF. Okay? You move money from the center, take ku constituency. Or is in ndarama in the CDF. But where is this money being spent from? It's going back to the center to be spent at the center. Why? Because mkaenda pa council hours that no, you can't spend or do a contract that is more than 500,000 kwacha. So you give them 30 million kwacha and you tell them you can't do any contract that is over 500,000 kwacha. So the money has to be expended back at the center. Central government will have to approve the contracts, all those things that the procurement process is not being done at local level. Yabwere ramanja ku central government. Is that what you call decentralization? Even when you have this money, it is just like saying, we are the four of us in this studio. Abanda, you are supposed to get 200 kwacha. Vabwalia, you're supposed to get 400 kwacha. Hamududu, you're supposed to get 400 kwacha. Then we change and say, okay, if 400 kwacha or 200 kwacha and everything, let us just give one person. Let us give a banda. A banda will give you 1,000 kwacha. Then when we come to you, we say, okay, you a banda, give 400 kwacha to Hamududu and give 400 kwacha to Azur. What have we done? Nothing. What do I mean to say? Boma, mu constituency, izi bakutimuli ma school. Izi bakutimuli ma hospitals. And they used to fund these directly. That's what they used to do. Okay? So, either way, the monies that are supposed to go in a constituency remain constant. It's the same. They were just funding these other places, the hospitals, the schools, they were funding them directly. Now, what do? They get all these monies and say, okay, Ayazafa part of CDF, zaenda ku council. When this money goes to the council, but okay, manje mwa council pelekani ndarama ku hospital ku, pelekani ndarama ku maskuzi, pelekani ndarama. You are being told how to spend that money the same way it was being spent previously. And that is why people are not seeing the effect on the ground, because it is doing the same things that was being done previously. You have just lumped together the big amount and you even dictate how that money should be spent. That's why the effect is zero.
Would you keep the CDF arrangement?
Let me tell you how we would deal with the CDF. This CDF has to be delinked from these other traditional funded projects by the government. Issues to do with the hospital, Yes, and
with the ministry?
With the ministry. Let ministry deal with that. Issues to do with the school, let the ministry deal with that. Don't get that. This money that you have given them, this 30 million kwacha, or indeed 40 million kwacha as it were, would say that every year of funding, each constituency should be able to come up with at least one economically viable project. If you give them that leverage, and also give them the leverage to spend equivalent to the money that you have given them, without taking back the money to spend at the center, you'll make a difference. In 5 years, you will have had 5 economically viable projects in a constituency. And the way you do it, you put it under a project fund. Because when you have it under a project fund, even a pen will have to be accounted for. Mwachosapo tu kwacha kugula penso, that will have to be accounted for. That is how you would want to restructure this CDF so that it responds to the needs of the people who are on the ground. You can't say, tampasani, but this year tengamponi tu kwacha mukamange palace. There's no palace in Kawata. What are you going to tell them to do with this money? What are you going to tell them to do with this money? Why don't you have separate projects to deal with what are the responsibilities of central government? You take up those responsibilities. The responsibilities of local government, you give them sufficient money to run these projects. Then you will see that constituencies will have factories. Constituencies will be able to add value to the goods that they have. They can choose to say, in our constituency, we're going to have a packaging factory so that we're able to package the food that we grow, properly brand it. You can have all these projects run from that amount. You just have to restructure it and not make it a hoax or as a tool to hoodwink the Zambians. You don't do that. And that is what this government is doing. That is taking advantage of people's ignorance and obviously hiding data. And people don't have access to that information. It is all a hoax, but it can be done better, and we intend to do it better. We are available to do it better.
This is the Tuesday edition of The Burning Issue here on the Happy World of 5FM Radio. Remember, we are also live on our partner radio stations. But before I make mention of them, remember our guest this morning is Makebi Zulu. He is renowned lawyer and Patriotic Front presidential aspiring candidate. And we are live on Katete FM on 103.3 FM in Eastern Province, Spice FM in Central Province, in Kawe to be precise on 91.1, ZFM in Kapiri on 100.3 FM, Platinum Radio on 99.7 in Ndola, and Copperbelt Tuta FM on 90.7 in Mansa and Luapula Province, Isunga Radio on 88.3 in Senga Hill, Northern Province, and BMTV on channel 114 on Topstar, as well as on their Facebook page, that is BMTV Zambia. And of course, our Facebook page is busy this morning. That is 5FM Radio Zambia. Like it, share it, leave us a comment. We would be interested to read especially your questions. I will take your phone calls now on 0955 221515. And remember, you are keeping your question, your comment within a minute. And please utilize that time wisely. Let's take phone calls. I will ask that you wear your headsets. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Vanani?
Yombwe Edgar Ukabwe.
Edgar Yombwe Kukabwe. Mkwai, pitisha.
Jife wino Yombwe munishan mkwai.
We lost Yombwe. Please call us back on 0955 221515. We have another one. Good morning.
Yes. Morning, Mr. Zach.
Morning to you. Thank you very much for calling. Please share your name and where you're calling us from.
Yes, this is William Ngenda from Bowden.
William Ngenda. Yes, please, yes, William. Please, you have a minute.
All right, thanks. Morning, sir.
Ngenda, which one?
Enisha mutwani wozulu.
Loikatile.
Yeah. Question yanga ba honorable. Nifunza pali ishi yaba brani munduvire. Namverako vanakushitani invite timsenzere pamoja anda tonse variko. Namvera munakana tupe singa sevenze pamoja na iyo tonse anesi wabwerera mpievu. So kwenda kwa kusogoro or in future muliko na maplans ya kuti mungachiteri group again kwenda mutonse o chiribwanje ndi PF zakapezeka pa ballot okuli because imwe pa Makebi Zulu ngamuona vintu sivili bwino wepi ndi sivarulinga bwino. Why simuvapasa my ideas yanu mankala pamoja mwasebenza nawo
zikomo kwambiri ba William. We'll get another one on 0955221515. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Morning to you.
Morning. This is Mbao Aaron calling you from Chipata.
Mbao Aaron from Chipata.
Yes.
Pitirizana Bururubash.
Yes, I know kuna mikira vamina cha explain asogorori. But chintu chamene changa chodandaulisa nikusowekera kwa mgwirizano. Vamene vantu valira, vamene isetirira ndiye vamene veve vakamba vazoona is chosen one. Kungala msogoleri. But semba mgwirizano. Especially monga ma youth in Eastern Province. We are ready to support, but unit. Thank you very much.
Zikomo, Aaron kuchokela kuchipata, and let me take one more and then I can give you an opportunity to respond on 0955221515. That's the number you're calling us on. Good morning.
Hello, Bukashani.
Twashibuka Bukashani mkwae.
Wina.
Ati bani moletu mina kui. Bani?
Moletu mina kukabwe.
Mkwae.
Bachipamba mumboto.
Bachipamba. Mkwae bachipamba. Pitirisha mkwae.
Mkwae. Shani ba Makebi Zulu.
Ndife buna bachipamba munishani mkwae.
Twatotela bafiashi.
Nditaye.
Awe twalanda ke muchibe mbache switch. Mkwae. Na tumfana balanda bwino sana bafiashi. Mule monekana promising mirandire. Mkwae. Na tilafu anjipusheko kaidi. Kweba mbi tatuwasangirira. Mkwae. Alonga tuwamona muri mufire chipika. Balelanda ni pama paper. Mumone tuwali kuma mind yuku. Bali tufunyako. So kuti na temwa. Ebifiri nefire chipika muri chino echalo. Lakuti kwa wako ngavira fino okuteko. Let's say fine kuri godi. Government ya iretushita kuchira ba mifunyako. Pantu kuli ama families yayengi sana. So kuli vefini mulelanda nguti mwagombera kupali icho chini ndichawa sana. Ama investors bali sana pamulu kuchira ama Zambian. Ama buildings bali bapera batifo kwa Zambian staturekwata. So kuchichawa ama po mwagombera kupali icho chintu. Futi na chintu ichimbi kuti nalanda pali ibifine mulelanda pali pafye mukachita kuti natemwako kwafumako constitution yakwe bati umuntu ngabe pobufi yaba mulandu fyabanilo mkwae
twatotela mkwae Chipamba. All right, from Kabwe. Let me take just one more. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, President Makebi Zulu.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. Yeah. So, I just want to make a quick contribution on the issue of the alliance. This issue of Brand Munduvile. I think me personally...
Sorry, we didn't get your name.
Oh, sorry. My name is Andrew. I'm calling you from within Lusaka.
All right.
Yes, once a Munarian, always a Munarian. So I think for me, really, I must state from the outset that I do respect all the leadership of the PF. I do respect, with great respect for all the leaders. And personally, I must say that I was very disappointed with the way the Honorable Munduvile conducted himself. I think that is treachery, and that is unacceptable. And I pray and hope that one day Munduvile will come back to his senses and get back on the table with his friends. Because look, Mr. Zak and President Makebi Zulu, there is no way you can participate in an illegal meeting, and you claim that you're a member of the Patriotic Front, then you go and participate in an illegal meeting, that meeting that makes a decision to expel the Patriotic Front, the anchor party, which the president himself, Edgar Lungu, was leading, which he appointed Honorable President to lead, as acting, and you go and expel that party from the Tonse Alliance. Then the person goes behind with his minions. They go behind. He goes behind and goes and installs himself. I call it installing himself, because that was a sham election. How dare you go and stand against Adani Pool and call it an election? I call it a sham election. So me personally, I've got great respect for Makebi Zulu, but he really disappointed me. And I immediately,
You mean for Munduvile?
Yes, yes, I'm talking about the Mengalato that Munduvile did. Munduvile has betrayed. Munduvile has betrayed ECL. Munduvile has betrayed the Patriotic Front. Munduvile has betrayed the dream of the Zambian people. Because now we are now at the risk of splitting the PF vote. Because there's no Mr. Zak. Munduvile, he claims he's a member of the Patriotic Front. He went and participated in an illegal meeting that made the decision to expel the same Patriotic Front, which he claims he loved. The same Patriotic Front, which was led by Edgar Lungu, he went and participated in a meeting. They expelled PF from the alliance, from the Tonse Alliance. The anchor party expelled. They goes behind with his Zumani. They go behind and they have a sham election. He installed himself as leader. I don't call it an election, because there is no way Mr. Zaki can go and have an election and stand against Adani Pool. I refuse to believe that. So that was a sham election, and me personally, I am very disappointed in Munduvile. I had great respect for Munduvile, and really doesn't disappoint.
Thank you.
That man has really disappointed me. So, Honorable Makebi Zulu, please continue engaging with your colleagues. Continue engaging. Continue. I like the way you do politics. I think decency. You bring decency to politics. I think sometimes we are better off losing an election with integrity than with crookedness. And I pray that one day Munduvile will come back to his senses and get on the table with his friends. I don't know what has motivated him. I don't know if there are external forces behind. I'm trying to understand why Honorable Munduvile could do that. And lastly, I'm also disappointed with Councillor George Tsanga. I held that man in very high esteem. But George Tsanga, surely, he is failing to advise his friend. Surely, this is very disappointing, Mr. Zak. And Mr. Makebi Zulu, I know you're a very prayerful man. Continue praying, and we are going to support whoever the party is going to give us. I think that's how we should practice politics of decency. I thank you.
Thank you, Andrew, for your contribution. I'll give you an opportunity to respond now. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. I guess William Genda's question is effectively responded to by Andrew from Osaka, and a call for unity has been our call the whole time. So now, Aaron, kuchipata nufuna kuti mwe muziro kuti se tufuna kubulizana na bantu bose kuti boma ikuzayi tikabe pamo tonse mboma yameneyi chifukwa lingola asunya kuti tisebenzere bantu ba Mzambia, bantu onse apezeko ubwino onkhala na boma yufuna kubasamala osati boma yufuna olemelesa yawo never tufuna se. So we will keep engaging, we will keep talking, even to my brother Brian Munduvile. We will have to keep talking so that we save the interests of the Zambians.
Are you talking currently?
No, currently we are not talking from the time he left the PF, because we are concentrating on ensuring that this PF is held together, this PF stands as one, this PF becomes, or indeed continues being, a force to reckon with, that it has always been under one leader. That's the process that we're undertaking. Too bad our friend ran away from that process, but that is the process that was going to ensure unity within the Patriotic Front Party. And we'll continue inviting him to come back home where we can build together. Yes. So that's what I would say as regards that issue.
Right.
But Chipamba raises a very important issue. Bachipamba ili ashmwalete ikankala sana. Imumwebale ya mumpanga mukusangako godi nefi ashalefi. Government yali no kumita ngatamwa kwa tama license ya mipela ama license. If ndelanda fyo tukesa achita, not if fyo bachitile, ukutuma amasoja, ukutila kabia mwafunye oku, kabia nine infutishi, tesha ma Zambians, tesha kusonta ma Zambians.
But that was to curb illegal mining. Illegal mining is illegal, man.
I hear you. But why don't we approach it in a very systematic way? These people that have gone or had gone into that, into those places, some of them were artisanal miners. Of course, some of them were mining without licenses, and that is what we call illegal mining. But these are your people. If indeed you're saying there are foreigners there, why don't you separate the sheep from the goats and say, you, our people, sit here? Vachpampa isenukuno. Not wish kwaliba gold, but there's a way that you can mine this gold in a safe way. We will provide that service as government. Tamwa kwa ta license, pangeni cooperative, iseningan cooperative, tumipera ma license, so that mle imba godi, ngamwa imba godi ifwe, fwe wavuteko tukalashi takulimwe. Remember, there's a program that was begun by the Patriotic Front to say we will buy all gold that has to be that will be produced in our country, and we will have our reserves as gold. That would be a better way of keeping the value of the kwacha, or indeed the value of our money. Our reserves should be kept in terms of gold. We have lost an opportunity. Ghana did this, where they went to all those that were mining illegally and said, okay, listen, we are going to help you to mine in a safe environment, to mine in a sustainable way that doesn't cause degradation to the environment, or at least mitigates degradation to the environment. Over and above that, they provided mining tools that they were to use, metal detectors and all those issues, gold detectors that were supposed to. They provided those and also created a market. They did not only create a market, they also created a simple tax system where abaremba godi are able to pay and contribute something to the government, and government is also providing a market for them. You just don't go and flush them out and call it fumigation and extermination of illegal miners. Have the idea of saying, what benefit can we derive from this discovery of God in this particular area? How can there be community beneficiation in this particular area? All the uproar on the copper belt in Chililabombwe, in Chingola, is because of this heavy-handed approach towards your own citizens, that they are not able to benefit from the local resources. You are not creating an environment for them to benefit. If we get twice, tukesa making sure mwakwata licenses to be able to mine in a very legal way, firstly, in a safe way, secondly, and in a sustainable way, thirdly. We need you to do that. We need you to take charge of these resources which God has endued us with. And then as government, we will create a market and buy from you. We have to create, if we can't buy ourselves, we will have to find a way of buying, centrally buying that gold, creating a market for the Zambians. That is what we ought to be doing. We've already messed up when it comes to big mines. We've given them incentives, but we could get much more from these miners. So mwisakamana yo bachipampa tukesa bombera pali yo eli ashiro by doing exactly if you twalanda tukesa chitapa, because that is a way that is going to be sustainable. And obviously if you mulande okuti bapera sana omchinshi bamwisa ukuchira fwebena Zambia. Yes, I agree with you, and that is why we have to create an environment where imwe ngamwapange ndalama shenu tashakayo kufyalo fimbi mukalachisungira mumabanki muno mwine mabanki yesu abepo benu bakesa chitapo benefit pandalama isho shine na ifwe tukalamona kuti abantu besu indalama shabo shambo okufula takwakabe ati yo deki vamukonkanishwa ashitira motoka pantu nishina tuishibati twamipera environment where you are able to sustain yourself. We can't be priding ourselves in being poor, where anyone who has something at your proceeds of crime, if you want any proceeds of crime, when are we going to have an environment where we expect our Zambians to be millionaires? We expect our Zambians to be trillionaires. We can't be creating the law that is keeping Zambians poor and favoring others that are coming in. We can't have such a law, and we need to have a change of mind. We need to have that shift. Idi ashia kutira ati yo bera nonka abantu nimifia ashire mukaunda pali ati leadership code taufiro kwata business shan twaepanga kutira ukunonka mulandu. It shouldn't be like that. We are in a new age. We have very ambitious youths. We are very ambitious young men, very hardworking young men. Why don't we create an environment for them to thrive? Why don't we have a policy where government will only contract Zambians for supply of goods and services, and then task those Zambians, if at all they can't supply, they should be the ones to bring in foreigners, so that the money passes through the Zambian before it comes to government. We need such kind of policies that puts Zambians at the center without necessarily disturbing the market, without necessarily disturbing how business is conducted, but we simply prioritize a local content to land up, not selecting several or a few individuals from government or those related to people in government to be the ones to benefit. We shouldn't be doing that. Let's create an environment for the youths to thrive, young men and women to thrive, women to thrive. Let's create an environment where even a civil servant will be able to thrive based on the work that they're able to do locally.
Let me take some more calls on 0955221515. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning to you. Thank you for calling. Please share your name and where you're calling us from.
Musepela from Lusaka.
Musepela.
Yeah, from Lusaka.
Please go ahead, Mr. Musepela.
Mwashibuke ni wa Makebi Zulu.
Twashibuka katushibena.
Abuka sebuina mkore.
Emko.
Makebi Zulu twali mpero mchinshi ukulu sana. Pakuimine na family yabaidira chagwa Lungu uko abulo kusunkana. So apa ifopo tungalombako. Pamula ni wagoba twalolesha panshita. Inshita ile onda. Andinako ndakashita. Kwa shala next month. So tulefaya mubombere pamo na bablani mundubire natumfonyira ndire yenu. Ekintu tulefayisha sana. Pantunga mwasalanga nefi na ifo mwala turufia. Ifota tulefa muka tupere problem futi ngo inge misepela chifwe balengere 2021 mfwe. Ifo tulefa kuchinja. Anja abantu chetekeremo kuchinja. Ni mwebo na bablani mundubire na grupu yenu. So ifo tulefa chakwe bati muise pamo. Fire ni solution yako bati milete pamo. Mulande na mablani mundubire mwikale pamo ifoko tulefwaya inengo musepela nimi kwa chide tintu ifisuma sana isi yakumipela apale sana tupelo muntu uingatu sungelo uwati kuku ikishingelo nechite mwikonoti ya bobanda bapusho tupuku uinga bomba pakintu tufwaya abo bandi batusha kuwaya ngabaya nishichapwa baya babwela tenga kyakosa mkutufwaya apanomba kukanwa tatwa umenensala panduna tukwate mpalume Makebi Zulu na playa ni mundu bileva umesela
chako chipiteko iwe shwe mpalume so tulekwa mwikale kwamo na mufyunzweko tuwamipeka nshango mustepela so mubike kwa mano nomba tulero mbako lejo yenino kuno kurusaka ile kachinga
Twaumfa mkwai. Well, there you have it. You have a praise singer already, you know. 0955221515. That's the number you're calling us on. Let me quickly pick up a few more. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Morning. Thank you very much for calling. Please share your name and where you're calling us from.
I'm calling within Lusaka. My name is Mr. Chilonda.
Mr. Chilonda, please go ahead. You have a minute.
The only point what I am saying, first, good morning everybody and the listener, and Makebi Zulu, a former Malambo member of Parliament. Yeah.
Mwabuga buti badala.
Itwabuga mwabuga buti.
Gabotu. Nganda ule buti.
Shibuka shani, twaukabuino. One Zambia.
One nation.
So, the only point what I want to tell you that can you put house in order as a PF? Right now we have got 4 functions in your party. When I say 4 functions, I'm saying you as a Makebi Zulu vying for higher position. Mundu be the same, Loving the same, and Chaving the same. Former Matero member of Parliament, and the court decided to take a certificate from Chaving and give him Mundu. I don't know what is going on, but the fact is that put one brand who is on the T-shirt and the civil society, so that we still have a plan for Mr. Lungu, but we don't know who is succeeded him because we are still in fighting. So put your house in order so that we start standing where there is a by-election. So last issue, there's a person who have said that we fire anger we as a Zambian were hard worker, so we don't want to take that fire. Yeah, this is a good issue. We want God to go to the Zambian mines. People should benefit. Good roads, hospital, clinic, clean water. That's Zambia what we want. And there is a free issue in political. Let me tell you, I know that you are a lawyer, but I can even tell you that in politics, there is the executive of the party vote, cadres, people voters in 2 bases of policies. We are hard worker. We need opportunity from that person. I thank you, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Vachalonda. I'll take one more and then I can give you an opportunity to respond on 0955221515. Well, we lost it. Please call us back on 0955221515. Let's pick this one. Good morning. Mwashibuka shani.
Twavuka februno va Makebi Zulu tata mwavuka shani.
Twavuka mayo katwishibena.
Awo twavuka februno.
Atibani ma.
Wa Catherine ndeti mina kabanana kuno.
Wa Catherine ukabanana. Emkwai pitirishan mkwai.
Emkwai. Awo intata fonde fokulanda kofesi yako vati. Ifo background ifaro tata. Tulise intact. Tulele la fye imwe. Romba koko vati mwikatanese tata twapapata muse mutuluvule mbuchushu vutule pitamo na vukula ndeniva ukufuma 2021 tatwaikala po mutende tulechula va Makebi Zulu seli mutuluvule mubuchushu vutule pitamo twapapata ikataneni chopo tule romba background tulero yake ni mwebo fe bubwe tulero lera imwe mwalipita kale mwamfatata tule chocho tulero mbako pye ikataneni pye bwino pye mulanshanye bwino tule nipisha imwe ni mo tulero lera tulina imwe tata twapapata tuli pankasa shenu teni mutulubuleko mwamonaka twe bantu tulelila isoni timupiteko mwaingira ku mabhasi mumpu abantu fo balelanda uyu muntu uishiwaiso uyu uletiteko uyu atuchusha ndeniva ukudya tatulelye fyalondoloka maso ya pieces ke Takwati muleko kwati ngagada maota kwa vanokuva these days mwinge mungandati mwasango mutwalegenda matakuri nganiko kwewawo wese so iso tata tuliromba twapapata ikataneni twapapata mwise mutuluvule kuvuchushugu awe shuwa tata bombeni kwa wino twatokera sana.
Tashama Kathleen Mkwai. I'll let you respond quickly. I know that there is literally no question, but I'm sure you would want to affirm with what.
But I have a problem with you. Why didn't you let me put in a tenor when Vamsepera was singing? Nachafu kubikamo tena mnyatupange band na Vamsepera ngatwachimba olwimbo lusuma
I'm sure you will be together soon.
You switched off my mic, sir.
You know the song?
No. He just composed it, but I was going to throw in a tenor and some ad-libs here and there. Vamsepera natumfa, the call for unity is coming from everyone. We need to unite. And it's for that reason, so that we unite under one umbrella. Yes, after we unite under our umbrella, if these people use their mingalato as they intend to, ngatwalanda twala emini na patch panichi, twayabonse. Efyo tulefo atuchite hapa. Not fya kutira uyayoku. Let us come together. Mwebaya iseni ngamwaisa tuikale pamo tumfane twalaye nshiraisa. That is what we're calling for, because we know that as a people, as we are together as one, yes, we'll be able to stand. There's that saying to say, divided we fall, united we stand. And we still stand by that ideology that we need to unite for us to be able to stand. If we are divided, we may fall. But we have an opportunity to avoid falling and save the interests of the Zambians. It breaks my heart. Ukumfa mayo wa Catherine. Uku idishanya shobale idishanya. Ukutira tule chula. Tatule ikalabuino. Abantu na batuchugusha. Imwese ni mutulubulule. But we are saying that power ya kulubulula, yes, we are going to unite, is in you, the Zambian people. Ili ashia kutirati, awe nensha vote, bambi waka vote, I would urge you now to talk to your neighbor, to talk to their neighbors, talk to your friends, to talk to their friends. Ukutira, unomwaka, wonse tukaya mkuvota. Ngabonse twaima twamkuvota nemingala toshabo tashaka bombe. Ngawalefo ukuriginga, tabaka kwanisha ngabonse twamkuvota. Opo basangire ukuriginga abantu basanga opportunity ya kuriginga nga chamoneka okutira abengi tabere mkuvota pantu tabalundepo amavoti ngabonse twamkuvota tapalifya kulundapo wapalya fika moneka nokumoneka tapa balefo okuiva pantu amavoti nangwa mapepa na pulamo. So I will urge everyone that this is the year where you have to decide the future of this country. If you are willing to live another 5 years under this regime, none of us is willing to live under this repressive regime. We want a people that are free to talk. We want a people that are free to criticize their government. We want a people that will be able to benefit from the resources that this country has endowed us with. We want a people that are free to get rich. That is what we want, and that is what we should be working on. Let us all stand up in our numbers. Mweba kusenga hi uko bakavumbo. Uko katete apiri hapo pa market hapo. Muno mwine mulusaka. Msepera mwebene mweba chitumafoni. Uko kuchifuna buli uko. Konso uko muli mwakulu apula, northern, southern, western. Now is the time when you have to make your vote count. And as we are uniting, we as Zambians also have to unite to make our lives better.
I've got a couple of messages that have come through. I need to read them through. Good morning, Zach and guest Honorable Makebi Zulu. I saw a post on social media purporting that you and Dr. Membe, Honorable Brian Mundubile, KBF, and a few notable names and political parties have the intention of meeting and coming up with one leader. How true is that? Honorable, I don't know how you think about the light decision of getting PF back. Since Mr. Chabinga Robert has or is intending to appeal against the judgment. What do you think is the best way forward to get things better and to win the electorate's hearts? Considering that time is ticking to end, and when you continue to drag each other to court, definitely you will genuinely be giving the ruling party an advantage over the opposition. To be honest with you, you are a very intelligent man with full of wisdom. You can be a very good leader, I think, if given mandate to lead our country. This is Jackson Mutambo from Lusaka. I'll give you another one from Kitwe. Splendid morning, Council Makebi Zulu. Truly, this nation has to be governed by a lawyer like you, and I always get inspired by you. But what is really happening? All we want is you and your group to unveil a candidate we should move with this year. It has to be new. I am Sadat Salamu from Kitwe, aspiring politician. Right? Do you want to respond to any of that? I've got one more from Chipata, by the way.
Please.
This one is from Mr. Peter Peary in Chipata. Says, you were with the late president for some time, even before his demise. Did the president leave a will? Peter, from Peter Peary in Chipata. Now, I can let you react to...
Yes, please. Jackson Mutambo raises very important issues.
Yeah.
And I see that they do border around the issue of coming together, uniting, and that is what every Zambian wants.
Right.
That is what I want, and I'm sure that is what well-meaning politicians want in this particular case. It is beyond just removing President Hakainde Hichilema. It is also about restoring the freedoms that the Zambians have lost, restoring the economic freedom that Zambians seem to be struggling with, improving the economy at household level, so that we are able to say, economy na ishita improve pantu abantu nabalya uluchero akasuba nechongolo not ukutira ati economy has improved pantu na tulemba grafu na nguna tuchita ifyo tuwefu kuchita. It is important that we come together. As things stand, I do not think that President Hakainde Hichilema will go beyond 20% when it comes to the votes in the next election. But we can only make sure that this happens if each and every Zambian goes out to vote. Then we'll have a landslide victory for the Zambians. We'll have a landslide victory for the Zambians. And I'm deliberately saying landslide victory for the Zambians because Zambians have to emancipate themselves now. It is for them to make a decision as to which direction they will go. In the Bible, we see when Moses or indeed Joshua went and said, I bring before you life and death, but choose life. And even gives them that choice. Choose life. Choose a better 5 years, a better term of political office, not this current one. Tatwa pusuke the next 5 years if we continue with the UPND. Let us voice out by going to vote. Yes, we must continue talking. Time is running out. Fellow opposition leaders, the people of Zambia have spoken. The people of Zambia want a united opposition. The people of Zambia know that they want to vote for us, but they are saying, be seen to be one. Be seen to be one and do the right thing. Then we'll go ahead. I have always made myself available to talk to everyone so that we come together. Kitwe Sadat Salam, thank you so much for your kind words. And obviously, we look to work for the improvement of Zambia. We look to work for the Zambians, and I have made myself available to run for the Republican presidency so that we can fulfill this dream of a better Zambia, a dream of better youths, better women, better citizens for this country. I am available, and I will be standing in the next election. And indeed, PF is going to choose a flag bearer. We are going to sit amongst ourselves and choose this flag bearer, not only as PF being a movement, but also to take back the documents that were taken. But we must assure you that olowakana okupera amapepa, a decision ya kutira ati twala iminina pali ichichipani will be a decision that will be collectively made in the PF. We'll fight with everything that we have to get back the PF. Even assuming that it's not given, we have a plan for you, and we'll deliver that plan. I'm very hopeful that the PF presidency, I will take it, and after taking it, we will sit down with everyone else, come together and fight this battle together. Peter Piri, you've asked something that is rather very private, so I may not get into that, but simply take this advantage as a lawyer to advise you, Mr. Piri, and every Zambian out there that indeed we should all have wills so that our families are secured after we pass on. And that would be better, and we'll deal with a lot of other issues. For now, Bapiri, I would say, let us put ourselves together, let us organize ourselves together, and let us go and vote so that we have a better government that responds to the needs of the Zambians.
In conclusion, what is your vision for Zambia's future, and how do you plan to inspire confidence among Zambians?
Zambia needs a visionary who looks beyond themselves, who thinks, what kind of Zambia do I want to leave for my children? Zach, I have very young children. I want them to grow up in a Zambia that gives them equal opportunities. I want them to grow up in a Zambia that gives them access to the resources, to benefit from the resources that are in Zambia. I want, when my child is sick, or if my child gets sick, they should be able to find the facilities locally that will respond to their ailment. When my child needs education, I want them to have access to education. Not just access to education, access to quality education. When my grandchildren are going to school or are indeed at play, they must know that Zambia has moved or has changed from where it used to be to where it is now. When my children want to be farmers, I do not want them to be perceived as failures who have now resorted to farming. I want this nation to put farmers first. Have a food secure nation. And this can only be done if we do come together and envision together the kind of Zambia that we want. We want a Zambia where the resources are working for the Zambians. That is in the agricultural sector, our resources must work for us. In the mining sector, our resources must work for us. I also look forward to a Zambia where politics is not one of vengeance. Politics should be one where leaders who serve must be appreciated and not vilified and victimized. It's for that reason that we have undertaken, and we do say that President Hakainde Hichilema would be the luckiest, at least the first luckiest former president in this country, because no one should be able to vilify a former president. We must appreciate even the little that they've done for this nation and say, please enjoy your retirement. As you enjoy your retirement, you are free to move about. You are free to go to church. You are free to jog. You are free to go out of the country and come back. You are free to do all these things. We want a country that is healed. We want a country that is united. We also want institutions of governance that are not overreaching. We want an independent parliament. We want an independent judiciary. We want an independent executive. Government parastatals or indeed commissions. We want autonomous ones that are going to respond to the Zambian people. We want an accountable government. We want a president who is regulated by the law, not by whether he has good manners or bad manners. We have to change the law to fit the signs of the times. We need a government, or we are going to have a government that responds to the needs of the youths, creates employment, both in the formal and informal sector. A government that is going to grow its GDP locally, not from outside, an external kind of GDP, where we translate prosperity to affordability. Cost of living must be affordable for everyone, not those that are in the echelons of power. We can't have a government that only makes power available 6 months before the election. Where has power been all this while? When they traded power, prioritized other countries, left their Zambians behind. This time around, they should have been giving us stories to say water has not yet come to Kariba. Where has this suddenly come from? It's certainly because of that election. Zambians should not be duped. We are aware that they're now bringing Zambia ZAF, Zambia National Service, and possibly the Zambia Army to be able to sell meal to the Zambians at a cheap price. For purposes of the election? No. Zambians should not be duped. Zambians will not be duped. Zambians will change government in this year for the better, and we're available to lead that fight for a better Zambia. 2016, vote for Makebi Zulu.
2026.
2026, yes, indeed. 2026, vote for Makebi Zulu as President of the Republic of Zambia.
Makebi Zulu, thank you very much for coming today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, there you have it. That was our guest for today on the Tuesday edition of The Burning Issue. I'd like to sincerely thank all you, our listener, who made an effort to call in and interacted with our guest, and the conversations that have continued going on our Facebook page. And also, let me thank more sincerely our partner media houses that carried this program live on their respective platforms. That's Katete FM, Spice FM, ZFM, Platinum Radio, Tuta FM, Isunga Radio, and BMTV. And from all of us here is take care of yourselves and more so.